Amazing Grace is one of the most beloved hymns in the entire world. It has been sung in grand cathedrals, in small country churches, and even whispered in moments of deep sorrow and hope. But this hymn is far more than just a song we sing. It carries a story, a testimony of sin, despair, and God's transforming grace. This is the story of Amazing Grace. Have you ever heard the song, Amazing Grace? How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me? I'm sure you must have. This song is probably the most popular hymn of all time, and for good reason. Its words touch the deepest parts of our hearts, reminding us of God's unending love and forgiveness. But have you ever wondered why this song exists? Why did the author pen these powerful lyrics? And what led him to pour his soul into Amazing Grace? If you're ready, let's take a journey back in time and discover the incredible story behind this timeless hymn. The story begins with a man named John Newton, born in 1725 in England. His childhood was difficult, and from a young age, he lived without much direction or discipline. When he was just 9 years old, his father died, and soon after his mother sent him to live with his grandmother. Sadly, she wasn't kind to him, and as a result, young John developed a rebellious and defiant nature. As he grew older, Newton lived a reckless and rebellious life. He turned away from faith and morality, choosing instead a path of selfishness and sin. In his early 20s, he abandoned his studies, neglected his family, and immersed himself in the pleasures of the world. Newton was searching for happiness, but his choices only led him deeper into despair. Then, when he was 21, Newton made a decision that would change his life forever. He joined the Royal Navy and became involved in one of the darkest trades in history, the slave trade. For years, Newton worked on ships that carried human beings in chains across oceans, into lives of unimaginable suffering. He saw firsthand the cruelty and injustice of this trade. But sadly, he also profited from it. As he sailed the seas, Newton's heart grew heavy with guilt. He tried to drown his shame in the pleasures of the world, but nothing could ease the torment within him. He was lost, blind, proud, and full of despair. But in 1748, everything changed. While sailing back to England, Newton's ship was caught in a violent storm on the Atlantic Ocean. Waves crashed over the deck, thunder roared, and death seemed certain. In that moment of terror, Newton cried out to God from the depths of his heart, "Lord, have mercy on me." Miraculously, the ship survived the storm and reached the shore safely. For Newton, this experience was a turning point. It shook him to his core and made him realize the depth of his sin and the need for God's mercy. After the storm, Newton began to open his heart to God. He started attending church services and studying the Bible. Slowly but surely, he turned away from the darkness that had consumed him and walked towards the light of faith. He eventually left the slave trade completely behind, becoming a Christian pastor. He spent the rest of his life preaching the very grace that had saved him. Often he would tell people, "I am a great sinner, but Christ is a great Savior." That was the theme of his life, and the testimony he carried until his final days. In 1772, John Newton put his testimony into words for his congregation. He wrote the lines of a hymn that would echo through centuries. "Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me." These words were not poetry alone. They were the living confession of a man who knew the depths of sin and the even greater depths of God's mercy. Over time, Amazing Grace became more than Newton's personal testimony. It became the song of countless people from every nation and generation who experienced the same grace. It has been sung in times of war and peace, in funerals and celebrations, in moments of tragedy and triumph. The words always carry the same power, the reminder that grace is greater than our sin. And today, this hymn continues to speak. It reminds us that no matter how far we have wandered, no matter how broken we may feel, God's grace can still reach us. His mercy is enough, yesterday, today, and forever. What saved John Newton is the same grace that can save us. Do you have a memory connected to Amazing Grace? Perhaps it was sung at a loved one's funeral or during a service that touched your heart. Whatever your story may be, remember this: God's amazing grace is still alive and still working today. If this story encouraged you, please share your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear how this hymn has touched your life. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of faith, hope, and the power of God's love. And above all, may God's amazing grace be with you today, tomorrow, and always.